On a more serious note, I want to pause and address the improper payment, something we've talked about ad nauseum, but we still need to continue to focus on it. But we thank you and your folks for your diligence in working with us there. I also am encouraged by the, we still have not too many government operations, too much to criticize and find fault with, but you reported to us that we're making improvement in a number of areas, and several key areas have actually been taken off of the high-risk list, and we're happy about that. As we've learned, payments made through the Paycheck Protection Program, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan EIDL program during the onset of the pandemic resulted in hundreds of millions of dollars in improper payments. And while this emergency relief we know helped thousands of small businesses, probably millions across the country, cope with adverse economic conditions, these programs remain susceptible to high levels of improper payments and fraud. In the 116th Congress, I worked with Senator Kennedy, Senator Peters, Senator Paul, and others on this committee to pass legislation that would endeavor to stop making improper payments to dead people and require data sharing among federal agencies to ensure that these payments are reduced and eventually eliminated. Question. Controller General, what suggestions does GAO have for additional legislative improvements to further address improper payments and fraud?
Yes. First, I recommended legislation that for any new federal program that's created or a major increase in a program of $100 million or more be automatically designated susceptible to improper payments. Right now, it can be 1 or 2 years after the program is started before the very first improper payment estimate is made. That's too late. Particularly in some of these emergency programs, the program's over before the estimates are made. And the later you make these estimates, the less likely you are to recover the improper payment. Secondly, agencies should be required to have special procedures in place and internal controls before emergency spending or major increases in spending. Right now, we've made that recommendation to OMB. Everybody in the executive branch thinks the normal controls are enough. We don't.
Okay.
We think they need to have special controls, and they know what they need to do, because this is where the push is to get the money out fast without having the normal controls in place. So you need some kind of tailored controls, and you can do both. You can protect the government and get the money out fast if you plan ahead and use those experiences. The last thing I'd mention is that there needs to be a permanent analytical capability within the Inspector General community. We had it during the Recovery Act days. It was eliminated in 2015. I recommend that Congress make it permanent. That didn't happen. I'm at it again. I'd like to see it made permanent. The IG community is supportive. They can help prevent fraud and improper payments.
Right. Well, my staff and my colleagues have heard me say over and over and over again, everything I do, I think everything we do, we can do better. And you've given us some three good ideas to how to do an even better job on improper payments, especially to people who are no longer with us. Second area I wanted to pursue in my questions is deals with establishing a government-wide cyber workforce plan. And as folks in this committee know well, the cyber threat posed by hostile nations and groups around the world cannot be overstated. We continue to see cyber threat actors evolve and advance their techniques in ways that pose a threat to business, healthcare facilities, critical infrastructure, and put at risk the financial and personal safety of our countrymen and women. Unfortunately, the cyber threat landscape is not getting less volatile, it's actually getting more volatile. And Controller General, in your statement, I believe you mentioned that further action is needed in cyberspace when it comes to establishing and effectively implementing a government-wide cyber workforce plan, a government-wide cyber workforce plan. My question along those lines is, given that each federal agency's mission and size is so different from one another, how best can we establish a government-wide cyber workforce plan that would address the needs of each department in an appropriate way?
Yes. I'm going to ask Nick Marinos, who's our expert in the IT and cyber area, to respond, Senator.
Yes, Senator. First, just to point out, too, we have heard from the White House that there are intentions to establish that national strategy for workforce, cyber workforce in the summer. What we'd be looking for is, one, a pushback to the agencies to continue to identify where they have gaps. Even though we've seen some improvement in this area, there's no comprehensive way for us to know whether each federal agency actually knows what it needs, first of all. The second thing is that each agency then needs to focus on not only recruiting and hiring, but also retaining really highly qualified staff. We know there's a shortage not only within the federal government, but across the nation. And so it'll be important for them to leverage not only the tools that they have right now, but recent legislation that's called on creative ways to try to generate ideas for how to keep federal government employees actually staying within the federal government.
Great.
Yeah, there's a couple of things I'd add on. One is that there's a problem now between competition among agencies for the same talent. So I think a government-wide plan can help deal with that issue a bit, because there's an unlevel playing field. Some agencies have special hiring authorities and pay, others don't. And I think there needs to be a look at that and whether that's rationalized properly. The other thing is that OPM, we've just issued a report recently saying the Office of Personnel Management does not have its own plan for improving its workforce and needs to. So the human resource people in the government, whether they're centralized in OPM or in individual agencies, aren't what we need in order to help support the recruitment and hiring and of cyber people. And I think this is also a cautionary tale that we need to get ahead in artificial intelligence and quantum computing, because there were really no qualification standards for cyber people for a number of years. And so we were way behind the curve.
Mr. Chairman, we have a saying in the Navy when people do extraordinary work, we use the phrase, bravo Zulu. And I would just say to you, to both of you, to the folks that are behind you from GAO, and those that are maybe listening in or watching and tuning in today, and those who are just hard at work, bravo Zulu. Keep up the great job. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Senator Carper.